What's up, gingos? Today I want to talk about how I see so often people try to have some sort of diet that really works for them to lose weight, and I'm just here to tell you it's all garbanzo, it's garbage, it's BS. And I tell you this because I myself, when I was a lot fatter. I used to be 204 pounds at like 5'4", 5'5", and now I'm 190, 5'11", but I'm lean, right? Like I have like my abs show, my veins show, things of that nature, and I never dieted, right? The only thing I've ever did was in the beginning was I tracked my calories in and out, and that's a horrible way to live. I'll tell you that right now. But I think it is important if you're trying to lose weight in the beginning or even try to gain weight and go on a calorie surplus instead of a deficit. It's only important because you start getting a better understanding of how much calories are in each little thing. Like for me to burn 150 calories, like on a Stairmaster, it would take me about 10 minutes, right? 10, 15 minutes, 10, 12 minutes, right? And for me to eat a bag of chips, well, I can do that in like a minute, but they're both of them are 150 calories. So when you start getting a better understanding based on what you're actually putting in your body, because like sometimes you'll eat a bag of chips, you'll be like, this was so like it didn't fill me up because they're empty calories, right? And like that's like all junk food. It's a lot of it's empty calories, a lot of it's not filling, and when you eat it, you feel like garbage after, but you ate it because it was convenient or whatever, and you don't even realize how much calories are in that. But that's what you gotta kind of do in the beginning. But you want to stay away from that after you do it because it's like, for some reason, it's not that like difficult. Like all you really do is just input what you're eating into this app and it MyFitnessPal, and then it tells you, oh, you ate this much calories, this and that. You have a $2,000, you have a 2,000 calorie limit per day. You just wasted 150. It's like money. So it's like per se, you have to use a calorie calculator to figure out how much calories you can eat daily on a daily whatever, right? Budget. And so like say yours is 2,000. If you have 2,000 every day, $2,000, let's say, and a bag of chips is $150, you're spending $150 to eat a bag of chips and it's not even filling you up, so it's not even worth the price. And so you want to you rather eat like bigger meals that have like that are like 500, 600 calories that are actually going to fill you up for a prolonged period of time, like a Chipotle bowl or something, which has like rice, chicken. It'll be like 700, 800 calories or whatever the case may be based on whatever you put in it, but it'll actually fill you up so you can actually have energy. You don't need to eat again. You'll be satiated, right? And so that's why I'm here to talk about like all these diets that people pitch. I swear it's all BS because like you have like paleo, keto, carnivore, and like I remember when I was like first started doing the whole weight loss thing, I was like, oh, I need to pick one of these diets and I need to stick to it. But it's like it makes no sense to stick to that diet because for most people they stick to a diet and maybe they lose a little bit of weight, right? Because this is what I really think. This is my theory against it because I never fully went into the diet because it made no sense for me because like I would still eat what my mom cooks and like it wouldn't like be aligned with what the diet consists of. And so I was like, I'm not gonna focus on that. So it's like if you have a diet per se, let's say you go on paleo or keto, you start it right, 2-3 weeks in, 6 weeks in, which is what they usually pitch you. Like, oh, go on this diet for 6 weeks, you'll lose weight, right? And you will lose weight because what you're eating is a lot more. It's not as calorie dense as what you normally eat, all the junk food you eat. So you naturally will lose weight because the diet is just more controlled of what you're putting into your body, right? So you lose weight, and after the 6 weeks is over, maybe you stop going on the diet or whatever, right? Maybe you slip up. As soon as you slip up once, you slip up continuously. It's like I don't know what it is. It's like this like human brain thing. Like once you like I find it so happens so often, like with anything. Like once you start like pressing the snooze button, you start pressing it every day. Or once you start eating junk food, once you start eating it every day. Once you stop going to the gym, you stop going for a long period of time. It's like once you break once, you break a lot. And so these diets, right? They work for a specific time period where you actually lose weight, and it's like giving you this reinforcement loop where you're like, oh, I went on the diet and I lost 6 pounds or whatever, right? But in reality, it's just because you start controlling what you ate rather than just eating all the BS junk food you normally eat. What you really have to do is what I believe is like you need to increase your movement because you need to implement movement into your everyday life because it's easier to implement movement in your day rather than to cut out all different types of food. Because if you were to just like when you stick to a diet, the only way for you to really stick to a diet and have it like really make you lose weight or whatever, it would be for you to stick to it for a very, very long time. Like I'm talking like 5-10 years or whatever, right? But we're humans, we're not gonna stick to such like basic levels of eating or whatever, right? There's so much food everywhere. Emergencies happen. Sometimes you're just more hungry than usual on like a day where you like didn't get enough sleep, so you want a little sugar or whatever the case may be, right? But these diets, they're so strict. They're like, oh, you can't eat this and you can't eat that, and it's like it starts getting in the way of life per se. So it's like it's not it's not a good way to live, and it's like it's healthy for the time being, but it depends on how sustainable it is. And it's in most cases because we're human, we're just gonna eventually have a cheat day, or we're gonna have want to eat something else, or we're just like, we get bored of what we eat, right? And so rather than having a super strict diet, you need to figure out ways to implement more movement into your day so that you continuously lose weight because you move more. You're burning calories physically rather than based off. It's like this. This is how you have to see it, right? The diets are essentially what make your calorie deficit. So if you have a $2,000 calorie limit per day, if you eat 1,800 over a course of a week, you will lose 1,400 calories because you lessen it 200, right, per day. And so that's what eventually will help you lose weight, because each pound that you want to lose off is like technically 3,500 calories. And so if you can go out and burn 200 calories a lot easier than you can like get yourself to eat less and less. And every single time, like suppose you start eating 1,800, that becomes your new regular. Now you got to go to 1,600, then you go to 1,400, right? Just to keep losing more and more weight, because it does go lower as your body starts losing less weight. You need less calories, so the 1,800 becomes 1,600, then 1,600 becomes 1,400, and then you start becoming really tired and lethargic because your body has no energy. And I've been through this, and it was horrible, right? You didn't want to go to the gym anymore. You don't want to do nothing anymore, and like you're like, oh, I can't go out with my friends. I can't eat this and that. And so it's like if you had money, right? You can only save so much because eventually it'll go to zero. So it's like, say you're like tracking your expenses, and you're like, okay, if I just stop taking my car and I only take the bus, and then I stop paying for rent and I have 5 roommates, and I stop eating out and I only buy the same groceries every single week. It's like you keep saving and saving, and your life's getting more and more worse or whatever, and like your emotions, your mood, everything starts getting affected. Maybe your energy or whatever gets affected, and you eventually will just go to zero. But it would have been a lot easier for you to, instead of saving like $10-15 per day or whatever the case may be, to just make another $10-15 per day. Like if you're talking about money wise, right? Same thing with fitness. So it's like, rather than trying to save calories per meal, just burn a little bit more per day. And I think that way is so much better. It just figure out ways to implement movement into your life, especially if you have an office job where you're like sitting around all day, or if you're like working at a work from home job. Do some push-ups, go on walks, jogs, go to the gym, play a sport. Like there's so much ways to, like, you don't even understand how not easy it is. It does take time, but when you play a sport, when you go to the gym, you burn so much calories that it's so much better that way for you to take that approach to going to the gym. And I know people will be like, oh, I'm too old. I'm just like, I'm not telling you to go to the gym and start running 3 miles. If you just walk, that's literally better than doing nothing. Like I know a trick where it's like, I've heard people say like, drink water before and after your meal, so then you consume less calories, because water is 0 calories. And then before and after your meal, go on a walk, 5 minutes, 10 minutes around your block, whatever the case may be. Not only are you digesting better, but you'll like burn more calories, because if you eat 3 times, you go on 6 walks, you have 6 cups of water, you have more water intake, you have more movement. Everything's better that way. And it's easy. Like you think it's like so hard to implement movement into your day, unless you're like, there's like some real actual like excuse, like you can't walk or you're too old or something like that. It's like, okay, I get it. But it's like, if you're like young, or just you can walk, you have the ability, you're just too lazy, then it's like, you gotta figure that out, you gotta fix that. But walk, implement movement in some sort of way, because it's way better than having to be like, oh, I have to eat this again, or I have to lower my calories again, or this is not even filling me up again. It's like, it's horrible. Nonetheless, figure it out, add movement to your life. In the end, we're all gonna win.